How long would you stay in a relationship if you didn't get physical intimacy or kissing? She needs therapy and coping skills, and no, I wouldn't. I say this as a woman who was sad by my father from age 3 to 16. There is help, but avoiding isn't a permanent solution. Facts. We would never get a relationship in the first place. I wish I would've learned this sooner, before wasting 2 years of a relationship. Is this a permanent thing? Or does she just need time to get comfortable? We've been together a year and he's never pushed it. Okay, so this is about you. You are the one uncomfortable with intimacy in this scenario? No judgment. I'm just trying to make sure I fully understand what's going on with this. It depends. If she's actively working on her issues, then I'd stay and support. But if not, and there was a permanent boundary with not even entertaining the idea of working through it, then for me, I'd have to move on. When I first started dating my wife, she was coming off of a relationship where she was assaulted by her fiancé. Because of that, it was 2 to 3 months before we were physical at all. Barely held hand, did not kiss, etc. Most I got was hugs during that time. Because of that, I let her lead the relationship. She made all of the first moves. We still spent a lot of time together, ate together almost every day, and generally had a lot of fun. But we still didn't have sex until the morning after our wedding. In spite of that, we have now been married for 26 years and have 5 kids. 3 points to note from this story. 1. She made efforts to fix herself. 2. They both agreed to go slow, which implies they spoke about it prior to long-term talks. 3. This is the exception, not the rule. Having dealt with it before, I'm not sure I would again. After a certain point, it's kind of on you to want to change and do the work. What you're telling me is that you want a relationship but can't mentally handle anything. That differentiates a relationship from a platonic friendship, and that's just not fair to expect anyone to deal with indefinitely. We hold hands and hug though. He's kissed the top of my head when I was crying. Even a simple cheek kiss is enough to make me just want to shrivel up into my clothes. You're describing a friendship there. A very good friendship, sure. But most men need something more physical in order to call it a relationship. Do friends hold hands and hug? He's held me when I cried, and he kissed the top of my head. You're still describing a friendship, just a more close one. Why is she dating instead of getting help for whatever caused her issues? Don't you know? People love ignoring their issues by diving into the next romantic relationship. That's why everyone arrives with so much baggage. Now, that kind of intimacy is a must for me. Since you asked how long, couple dates. Then I'd wonder if she even likes me, if she doesn't even want to kiss me. Yeah, same here. Physical affection is pretty basic relationship stuff. I'd probably know after like 2 to 3 dates if we are compatible that way. No point dragging it out when you both need different things. After posting my response, I read more of the thread and found more context on the what and why. Even taking all that into account, maybe even especially then, I don't think I would drag it out long. Op is clearly in dire need of therapeutic help, and she should focus on that first and foremost. It's nice her partner isn't pushing at all. He's incredibly patient. If he has any desires for affection, not just sexual, I would absolutely not expect anyone to do this. It wouldn't even get to the 3rd date. You expect kissing on the 1st date. For me, different guy. The 2nd date isn't uncommon for that. How old are you? I'm 26, and he is 28. So are you the girlfriend that has intimacy problems then? B/C This post is worded as a man wrote it, but your response is words as a woman wrote it. I don't get why people that are clearly not ready for a relationship think it would be fair to drag someone into that. Go get help for your issues. And when you're ready to sustain a relationship, then think about that. It's crazy I get for saying I don't want to date someone with ongoing/unresolved trauma, and that it's extremely selfish to start dating knowing full well you're leading this person on to be hurt in the future. What would be the point? We go on dates, hold hands and hug. He kissed the top of my head while I was crying once. That's my limit. Even a simple cheek kiss makes me slump into my clothes and triggers me. Okay, why are you accepting this as your destiny? Why not actively take steps to address the trauma and seek professional help so you can move on with your life instead of throwing up your hands and giving up? Why hold on to something that will be an anchor for you and weigh you down for the rest of your life and cause nothing but issues for you and your relationships? The question you've asked is not a solution for the problem you actually need to solve, which is your inability to be physically intimate. You have some issues that only you can fix. I don't think that seeking answers from strangers is gonna help with this. But if you two really love each other, I hope you can get through this together. You do have to be open about it to him. I was in a similar situation for years. Not quite as bad as zero sex or kissing, but I stuck it out because she seemed to want to work on it. But there'd always be some new roadblock, and it was a never-ending series of shifting goalposts. On some level I was motivated by guilt. I didn't want to be the kind of person that would leave an otherwise great relationship because of my partner's trauma of being violently sad as a young child. And like I said, there was always hope of things improving. But the improvements were always small and never got to the core of the issue. Eventually I had to ask myself if I'd still be with her if sex was off the table, and I decided to accept that. Ended up staying with her for a few more years, falling deeper into a drug addiction until eventually realizing that this was killing me and that I had to prioritize my own mental health. When I broke up with her, it was the hardest thing I ever done because I know she'll probably never be in a long-term relationship again. And although I'm probably going to find someone new, it saddens me deeply that it couldn't be her. So I'm never going to put myself in that situation ever again. If you're not even comfortable kissing, then I'm sorry to say you're not ready to be in a relationship. Trying to be in one before you've addressed your trauma is only going to lead to misery and grief for you and your boyfriend. I would say, unless your boyfriend and you are genuinely asexual and have entered the relationship with that understanding, it's just not going to work. But if he is only refraining out of compromise, or you are only refraining because you're avoiding trauma/PTSD, then it's only going to make you worse off. I learned that some women love sex and some do not. I prefer the ones who do. When I was single, there was this girl I was interested in, until one day she declared she did not believe in kissing until after she got engaged. I did a complete 180 on that one. I was generally okay with waiting a while on the rest of the intimate things, but something struck me as possibly problematic for the future. If someone could be with me but refrain from even kissing until she got a diamond ring from me, made me wonder how else she might be willing to hold back from me in the future. BTW, I don't blame her for being like this. I believe she had some personal things going on that made her feel like making this rule, but just meant she's not for me. Bottom line is, from the perspective of my single self whose love language is physical touch, I need something. I can't just have nothing, and her not needing something would possibly make me wonder if she's even into me at all. Smart move. There wouldn't be a relationship aside from obviously valuing intimacy. Someone with that restriction has some serious baggage that I want no part of. They need more therapy, not a relationship. I'm just a guy, not a therapist. 3 dates. 4 if I really liked her. There's a bit more to it. Relationships typically aren't cut and dry like that. Physical intimacy takes on many forms, and that's a minor part of the relationship. If the person, both sides, truly wants that relationship, then talk. Don't hold anything back, and don't hide parts of it. I don't care, for the most part, if there is sex. But if one of them is hiding parts of the issue from the other, there can't be a relationship for long. If someone needs a break for whatever length of time, both sides need to be open to talking about your relationship. If I love her, I will do as much as I can. But if she doesn't love me back and hides critical information on the relationship, then walk away and heal from it. Agreed, not past a 3rd date. Physical intimacy is essential for me. It was 2 years last December. We've been working on it this year, but it's still maybe monthly. I'm going to stay as long as it takes to compromise on a frequency she's comfortable with that is still emotionally feasible for me. It's taking its toll on me, I'll tell you that. Edit. I would not have started the relationship at all if there was to be no expectation of physical intimacy. I would tell her that I'd be her friend and give support, but I don't think she's ready for a romantic relationship yet. It would eventually bother me, and I'd rather not build resentment over it. The question is, are you both a team and are actively working on ways to be involved in other ways to achieve physical intimacy while the other partner seeks therapy? If no, then that's a big issue in itself regardless. She needs to sort herself out ASAP. That ain't gonna fly long term. My best friend did with his ex. He was miserable for 5 years out of their 3-year relationship, always hoping it would get better. It never does, fellas. He's an idiot for moving in. After 2 to 3 months of no intimacy he should have left. Very truthful. I would not entertain a relationship without intimacy. If the intimacy ceased in an already established relationship I would end it swiftly. Intimacy and sex are a hard requirement for me. I don't have an issue if a woman doesn't like sex and intimacy, but it disqualifies them from being with me. If she wasn't willing to do that stuff ever, I'd expect to be told up front. That would be a deal breaker and is honestly a waste of my time.